DeLongchamp. See, you thought probably that I would not get that last name right, but you probably, we're Cajun down here, man. You know we got to get that right.
Fellas, I appreciate you having me. I got to tell you, I knew I was home. I could feel it. I could sense it.
See, I didn't even need any help. I mean, I've seen names like this with more vowels and all of them be Cajun. You got the most Cajun last name of all time.
I got to tell you, it feels right. It feels right. getting to meet my Bayou people last June in Omaha. I knew that I was home.
It's a good place. And look, Jack, you did a lot of great content, especially at the College World Series. Well, I'm actually going to talk about that with you at the end of this, but wanted to talk a lot of college baseball with you. But the first question I got to ask, has there ever been a baseball bat better made than what Hayden Travinski walked out with there on Thursday, which, by the way, you host a podcast, Pencil Talk, which just to let everybody know.
I appreciate you. No, to answer your question simply, absolutely not. He rolled out, a tear rolled down my eye. I saw my boy Tommy Tanks warming up with it in the cages. I think he's debuting it for when we're in person in Houston this weekend to see the boy. To answer your question simply, it's maybe the greatest technological advancement that we've seen since the rocket ship.
I have a not road to glory. What do you call that thing? On the show. It's your fantasy kid guy or whatever. A road to the show.
Yeah.
I actually got a pencil bat.
Do you really?
Yeah, you can go bet. Now, I don't have it, but I have a son in there who spent $2.99 on it. Okay, so all I'm going to say is the pencil bat is probably the best bat that I've ever seen. Dude, it's just so cool, man. Number two.
I'll tell you this, when Bryson Stott first whipped it out from Victus Sports, I think it was in the Williamsport Little League World Series Major League Classic deal. Every Monday since I saw them whip it, I've been in Victus's DMs. I know that I'm still a small I'm not kidding. Every Monday I have a copy and pasted message that I send their way. And I'm just, hey, I think there's something beautiful here. But the minute that I saw my Tigers, who treated me better than I could have ever imagined last June, and I know that we're a big, I'll be the homer for you. And I'm just telling you that this has nothing to do with baseball skill and talent. And could not have been more genuine and humble individuals that treated me, like I said, a small fish just trying to chase a dream and telling stories in baseball. Any better when I see my guys roll out with the pencil bat. It's a dream come true, dude.
They said they did it for you. That's what I heard.
I will say I reached out to Hayden Travinski, who I did get to the opportunity to interview at TD Ameritrade last year after the World Series. And I reached out and I go, you understand what you just did, right? This is the most beautiful collaboration between my favorite people and the most dear object I've ever experienced, the pencil. And he did. He goes, dude, I didn't even put two and two together. And I was like, makes sense. I go, I need Victus to answer my calls, and that's why.
I thought about you when I saw the pencil because I'm thinking, like, as a content creator, you having a podcast, the Pencil Talk, you talk college baseball, that had to be amazing. But let me stay with the Tigers before we go around college baseball very quickly. Jack, there's been some concern with the Tigers in reference to some of the walks that they've given up. Obviously, you lose to Stony Brook on a Friday. People are like, oh, my God, what's happening? Oh, my God, they suck. But then all of a sudden, they come back on Sunday and absolutely destroy the baseball. I guess through the first 8 games, what have you seen from LSU so far?
Well, first and foremost, I got to tell you, I was listening in far too kind of the words. The 11.7 guys, Dimitri and Ben, have created this monster.
Insane.
Those two guys, I've just been really blessed to be able to find a safe haven to talk ball. Now, let me ask you this. Are people hitting the panic button already?
It's Baton Rouge.
I should know my people better. Is that what
I mean, no, not really. But, I mean, Jack, when you go 2 for 21 with runners in scoring position, coming off or at least having the talent that you have, Tanks, Braswell, Milam, Jones, Travinski. I mean, Bingham hit 360 in the pack last year. Okay, Kling is projected a second-round pick. I just think that they have concerns about that. Look, I'm not saying I don't think any LSU fans saying, listen, destroy the baseball like you did last year, but 2 for 21 is a little bit of concern.
Very true. Now, you have to understand, LSU fans that are listening, I was a wildly below average college baseball player. I can speak to the difficulties of hitting a baseball. It takes time. There is rust to knock off. And when you're talking about not only a wildly talented group, now you just mentioned some of the dudes, those guys all tore up the Cape last year. So what I would say is, yes, you lost a lot last year, but here's what you lost. You lost veterans. You lost experience. That's
Right.
difficult to replace. You cannot teach 3, 4, 5 years of college baseball. So you still have the talent in place. Michael Braswell was, I think, the most highly recruited shortstop in the country coming out of high school. Josh Pearson absolutely raked in the Cape Cod League last year.
He
If
did.
people want to go ahead and freak out and say that the numbers aren't there, it's 250 through the first 2 weeks. You're not allowed to be worried until we get to 6 weeks in. I need volume first. That kid absolutely squares up baseballs. I heard you talking about Bear Jones. I don't know if I've ever seen a more terrifying hitter in the plate right now. I saw the video.
He's Mark McGuire reincarnated without the steroids.
Yeah, you know who he reminds me of for college fans? That he's a lot like Wes Clark, who was at South Carolina, Gamecock a couple years ago.
No doubt.
Strong, physical kid. The bat head's in the zone forever. But when you play with that kind of swagger, where he looks in, I don't know, I'm sure everyone's already seen it by now, where he looks in and goes, I'm going to go hit a homer. And then he hits a homer. Come on. So, man, I would tell you to hold on. I still think, and I said this on the 11.7 pod, I think you guys have, and this isn't just because I'm saying this because I'm on here or because of, how tight I am with it. Tommy White's he's the Golden Spikes player of the year. He is the way he approaches the game, I think his third base and the way he gloves it is wildly underrated. He's going to be a walking 90 RBI guy this year. I would just say breathe. Now, to your point about the mound, I was one of them late May. I didn't believe in the LSU back end. Did you? I don't think many did. But I think to college baseball's testament, man, this game is wildly contagious. Luke Holman has got an 18 strikeouts to 1 walk, right? That's contagious.
Hagen Smith almost had that in one game, but
yeah, that guy's an absolute unicorn. But it's gonna come, right? You got to fill in, and I think Griffin Herring's going to be a guy that's going to be really good, and we're only 2 weeks of seeing him, so just breathe, everybody, just breathe.
Yeah, and Chase Abear sends in a $4.99 super chat. He says Fidel Uoa has been legit when in the game, but Bucknam can't get it together. He's another guy that, look, Jack, tell me if you think that I'm wrong here. And look, this is very early, so we can find out very quickly that this is not true. I think I think I don't even know how to say it, but other than maybe philosophy, last year they just hit their way there. This year, I think they're going to have to pitch their way there. I mean, and to some extent, because look, your point comes to a place for me. Like you said something so good, like you don't get 5 years in baseball. Kay Beloso did not start until halfway through the year. Him and Travinsky, both of them have double-digit home runs by the end of it all. So I don't know if you have that. Like I don't know if that's on the bench for you right now, like you had last year. But I do think a guy like Fidel Uoa has been really good. Let me ask you this question. Rice taking 2 out of 3 from ULL. Am I reading a little bit in too much to the Owls here?
Well, I was going to say, I know we're a Louisiana pod. I think it's more of an indictment on Rice. And I think that this is I'll say it, they're a blue blood college baseball program. I think for those that really know, right? When you think about Rendon, Berkman from years past, with Cruz at the helm, I think they're in the right track. I don't know if they get back to that hosting a regional-esque like level of ball. They're going to be in that field of 64, though. Like they
oh yeah,
you know what I mean, and that's a really good conference. But I don't. To your point, I don't think you've read too far into it. I think what you've seen is what you're going to get out of them this year. And they did I don't want to bore people with my nerdy college baseball stuff, but they did a good job in the portal. Like they went and got depth, which is what they kind of lacked. They were front head heavy. They didn't have guys to protect their dogs at the top of the lineup. They got deep. They're 1 through 9 really dangerous, and a couple of those pieces in the back end I really liked.
Are you going to be at the game Wednesday with LSU and Rice?
So I'm in Charleston, South Carolina. So working to find it, whether it's Dixon, Ticonderoga, the pencil brand. I'm learning to level up like you, sir. I'm trying to get some sponsors to just hey, in Omaha last year. I slept in the whip for 2 weeks. I'm maybe a little bit too old for that. Maybe not as crazy as I was
Never
9 months ago, but I'm flying out. So I'm gonna save the mileage on the wheels. But I'll be in Houston Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'll be there Friday night for the UT game.
Let's go around some more college baseball here with you. Jack DeLongchamp is joining us. What has been a surprise team to you so far early in the year that you were just like, dude, I did not see this coming?
I would tell. I mean, I know we're an SEC team, Rave, but the one team that didn't necessarily surprise me, and they probably shouldn't surprise anyone because they were in a super regional last year. Duke. Duke is the real deal. I was lucky enough to be on a broadcast where they took on in the rematch against Coastal Carolina. Duke has created this really unique pipeline from the Ivy Leagues where they've got experienced fifth-year guys that are getting their master's degree and have got one good, more old-fashioned run at making a shot to play professional baseball. Ben Miller, the third baseman, was a Penn guy, a career 300 hitter. They are really good, and they've got 4 All-Americans in the rotation. I was really impressed by them. SEC baseball looks different, and people have said that for a long time from a physicality standpoint. Duke looked apart. Like Duke had defensive ends playing their corner infield spots. It's a really big baseball team. I would say that I guess they're not a huge surprise because of guess where they were a year ago and getting to the super. I think they kick down the door and get to Omaha this year. But I'm a mid-major guy. Detroit Trojans are the real deal in the Fun Belt.
Okay,
that's my pick right there. That's the mid-major I think makes that Oral Roberts-esque run to Omaha. It's the Detroit Trojans. They've got an All-American in the outfield. Their center fielder is wildly underrated, Cole Myers, who's leading the country with 6 homers right now. And they got 2 All-Americans on the mound in Troy, Alabama, baby. This is legit.
Interesting. Oral Roberts, man, I was like, man, every time, because look, when you're obviously your team is in it and you got to watch every game in Omaha, and you're just like, dude, I don't know how they keep doing it. Like they just don't have the dudes. But my God, you look up and they got to run here. Oh, well, that's a 2-run bomb, whatever. And then all of a sudden they're there. So that's really interesting that you say Troy might be the team. LSU pitching coach Wes Johnson now at Georgia. Are we getting some false hope here with the Dogs, or has Wes Johnson got a squad?
I think they're really good. I think
I do too.
Georgia and Georgia Tech are really good. And I'll tell you this, we all know Wes Johnson's going to go cultivate pitching. Like they'll be fine. They're not going to be fine on the mound. They're going to be so much better than a season ago. So they're going to be fine on the mound. They're going to go put up really good quality innings. But they got a kid in Charlie Condon, who I saw with Team USA last year. That's got maybe the prettiest swing in baseball. There's 100 guys that I could talk about, but like when he digs into the box, to your point, your son is building a swing on MLB The Show like Charlie Condon.
100%.
Yeah.
What do you think I do 2 hours? Dude, anybody can ask. For 2 hours before I come on here and Daddy's got to go to work, it's tea time and soft toss.
I love that. Fire me up.
Dude. But the problem is he looks like an NFL right guard. Okay, he's got his dad's build. He does not have a baseball build, so maybe he can look like Bear Jones. Who knows?
I was going to say, those like to play. I watched a kid hit 5. What Jones has got 4 already, and like I think 2 of them already at 450.
Right.
Guys, dude, the size of my thighs.
Well, what's crazy is, Jack, even with a guy like Bear, like he's not swinging a lot of pitches he did last year. Obviously, he was a freshman, and so his pitch selection that he's swinging at is so much better. So we'll see. Is there anybody in the SEC? Well, let me ask it like this because I'm leading you to here. Lamonis at Mississippi State, is he in trouble?
I don't think so. I'm in the same boat where it's like I've seen all the tweets and I think they're funny. Did the state of Mississippi sell their soul for $2? I love it. And if I'm in that boat, I'm like, yeah, I probably would too. But I think they're
right.
Fine. I really do think they're fine. What I think we're seeing is we're seeing the landscape change. We're seeing college sports, and I know you're a football guy as well. It's like for the first time in a really long time, the old guy is being revered here. Like That's the guy. We live in a microwave society. Everything is instantaneous. I can't necessarily wait to develop a young kid anymore. I got to go get old. So with that being said, you're seeing that trickle down effect where really good baseball players are having to transfer out of Power 5 schools because I'm hitting the portal. I'm going to get older. So you're seeing these legit Power 5 dudes end up at an Austin P. You're seeing these Power 5 guys end up at LIU, who just beat Miami. Like, you're seeing crazy upsets, but to me, it's more so the beauty and the disparity of the game that we're getting a really good baseball all over the place. So I look back to, I think Lamonis is fine. Like, the SEC is really good, so maybe conference play beats up on Ole Miss and Bianco and State and Lamonis. But to me, I don't worry about these midweek losses or even a weekend loss to a mid-major. I think it's more of a testament to mid-major baseball getting a lot better.
There is no sport that the portal affects more that people don't realize more than college baseball. Like, we're legitimately think about this. I had it. We talked to a guy who's been with a scout with the Dodgers. He was a front office guy with the Yankees when they won a couple World Series. He's been on the show a couple of times, and he came on here and told me, he goes, Blake, I've been in scouting for 37 years, and in all of my years of covering college baseball, for example, LSU, there is a potential that you have Skeens, Cruz, but number 1 overall picks, Tommy Tanks. Okay. Also, that is there. Okay. Uh-oh. You can pick it up. Yeah.
I was going to let it run. I was locked in on it.
Well, I thought it hit you in the head. I'm like,
did I get concussed? Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I hope he's not concussed on my show. You're good, man. But just multiple first-round guys on the show or on baseball teams that we've never really seen. So I think that's an interesting thing. All right, Jack, I got 2 more for you if you don't mind here.
Oh, dude, I'm going soccer on the Olympics the rest of the way. I'm wearing it as a blanket.
You look like Conor McGregor with the green flag walking out to the octagon. That's what I tell you. Texas is a team that obviously is coming into the SEC, but LSU faces this weekend. Have you noticed anything from Texas that you like, dislike? What have you seen from them?
Yeah, when you talked about it, hey, LSU is going to have to get back right to Omaha using pitching. I disagree with you in that I think the offense is better than you might think, but I do think that the pitching is going to have to take on a bigger load. When you talk about Texas, if they go to Omaha this year, it is going to be solely because of their arms. Like, they just played a pretty good Cal Poly team and didn't give up a run the entire weekend. They threw up 27 zeros. LeBaron Johnson is the real deal. They got an LBJ on Friday night. Tanner Witt's back. Their arms are really good. That might be an overstatement because we're just in week 2, but from what I saw, especially what they kind of built off of late last year in Big 12 play, their arms are really good. So to your point, that's a team to me that if they're going to get to Omaha, it's going to be because of their arms. So, hey, man, if the Bayou Nation is thinking that this LSU offense is scuffling a little bit, well, they got their hands full. And I think push comes to shove, we're in for kind of a fun little slugfest this weekend.
All right, last one for you here. Arkansas. Hagen Smith this past weekend, I think it was 18 outs, 17 strikeouts, something absolutely ridiculous.
68 pitches.
What was the pitch count?
68. They pulled him after 68 pitches. He had 17 punchies.
Why? Is he hurt, or is there a reason? Like, what does?
I mean, because, it's Hagen Smith in week 2. It's like I'd rather have Hagen Smith at the box instead of Hagen Smith getting a little bit banged up. But 68's like some Greg Maddux stuff. Isn't that crazy, though?
You know what? And I'm assuming he had a no-hitter through that too, right?
So, no, he had given up 4 hits. He'd given up 4 hits at the time. Okay. But it was like some Randy Johnson-esque stuff. It was so stupid. It was so stupid.
Arkansas is always a team, Jack, that is so talented, but always seems to have something bad happen to him. Is this a year for? I mean, man, look. I mean, I
know exactly what you mean.
They are the friend that you have that like is the best, one of your best friends in the group of friends that you hang out with. But when all of you go out to the bar, he may be talking to a girl, and he might almost have the girl out of the door, but he's going to do something to fuck it up. I mean, like that is Arkansas baseball.
You mean like dropping a fly ball with 2 outs in the 9th inning of the World Series to win it? Is that what you
No
mean?
doubt.
Is that fumbling the bag out the bar at 2 a.m.?
I mean, I've never seen more of a bag fumble than that.
Yeah, it's not good. I will say if you guys watch that game, like not only did Hagen Smith strike out 17 of 18 outs, but he did it against probably the number 1 position player off the board. Bazanas, I'm not saying
LSU saw him last year in the region. Oregon State's legit.
Yeah, the biggest overstatement biggest overreaction is that is probably a rematch for that World Series that they ran back a couple times as Oregon State, Arkansas. But here's what I'll tell you. My guy, Ben Upton, he's big dick swinging Ben Upton, baby. He knows college ball. I'm learning from him. I'm like a Jedi and an apprentice. I'm learning. He let me know that the last couple of years, from a longitude and latitude standpoint, he's tracking it across the country, right? Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU. It's technically Arkansas's turn if you look at the map. So we're throwing logic and reason and common sense out the window. We're digging deep into your wager tricks, and we're just getting weird. Yeah, we're getting weird. That's his natty champ team. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's Ben's team. They are. My question with them is if they had their 21 offense for like Bobby Moore and those dudes, plus this pitching staff, they'd be golden. I'm worried about their offense. I'm not worried about the LSU offense.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit worried about Arkansas's offense.
So I was about to say that. So I know that they had a good weekend this weekend, and I know it's week 1. Okay, when they opened up the series, God help me, who did they open up with?
They got beat.
James Madison.
Friday night.
Yeah, thank you guys. James Madison. They have to bring in McIntyre, which I thought McIntyre was going to be a weekend guy after seeing him in Baton Rouge last year. But then I'm sitting here asking myself, like, dude, if we're worried about LSU hitting the baseball, you better pay attention what's going on in Fayetteville. Dude, I do not – like, you talk about a team that's got to, like, win with pitching. I don't know about them, brother.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Like, if I'm an Arkansas fan, I'm sitting back going, next to Wake Forest, Arkansas's probably got the best weekend rotation in baseball, right?
Right.
But what have I seen from my offense? I got beat 2-1 in a 14-inning game against Oklahoma State, whose rotation was not good last year. Now, I think Oklahoma State takes steps forward this year, but if I'm Arkansas, I'm worried because I don't necessarily know what I have. If I'm LSU, like I'm looking at Paxton Clean, I'm looking at Josh Pearson in the outfield going, this guy's just dominating the Cape. Like you get drafted based off of what you do in the Cape. Like you can come back and hit $150. You're still going to get a shot because what you did in the Cape. You know what you have, Bayou Nation. We're going to be all right.
All right. We had one text come in for you. He said, this is from James. James says in the – guys, this is the text thread. Okay, there we go. The text thread, Jack, what do you think of – and he says, I hate Tennessee, but I want to know how the Vols are doing up there in Knoxville.
So James saw, Blake, I don't know if you've heard, but I probably am using the wrong terminology, but I can only be as honest as I am.
Okay.
I'm easily bribed. If you allow me to come tell your story and you allow me on campus to interact with your boys, I'm going to be the biggest fan in the world. A month ago, when I got to go visit Knoxville, I'm like, these guys are winning the national championship. This is sick. So that was just recency bias. What I will tell you about the Vols, James, is that Tony Vitello is that good looking in person. He is that GQ. He's GQ as hell. But he's got some dogs, man. Drew Beam is throwing on Saturdays for them, and Drew Beam was Captain America for that Team USA team last summer, and I was really impressed with 4-pitch mix, big league pedigree. Their offense is better, like their offense is a lot better than it was last year. I don't know, man. It's going to be a slugfest in the SEC. To me, I think Carolina's got the best offense today. I think that
you're talking about North Carolina or South Carolina.
In the SEC, South Carolina, I think today is the best offense. I think that Arkansas is the best pitching. I think LSU and Tennessee are the perfect blend of both. And the sleeper team in the SEC that I definitely slept on was A&M. I didn't think that all those pieces coming together in College Station was going to work, and it has. So those are my 5 teams in the SEC. So I don't know if that answers your Tennessee question, but I think between them and LSU, they have the most back where I go, oh, they're balanced everywhere. So yeah,
Chase Lavalette and Brandon and Montgomery have no business hitting back to back. None. It's illegal.
Braden Montgomery. Okay, I said Condon. I'm going back on my word. Braden Montgomery's got the pretty swinging baseball. He's got the pretty swinging baseball from both sides of the plate. But Blake, have you heard Laviette's nickname yet?
I have not.
All right.
Is it sexual?
No.
Oh, okay. You were pausing. I'm like, this.
No, it's the best nickname in baseball, and I don't think anybody knows where it originated from. His nickname, the guy that's got 5 home runs on the season, second in college baseball, Lord Tubbington.
Is he Tubby?
No, he's yoked. He's absolutely yoked. He looks like Cody Bellinger. He's quite literally because he's Olsen in the box for Atlanta, but he's built like Bellinger. But Lord Tubbington is his nickname. It's going all over college baseball Twitter pages today.
All I'm going to say is maybe the people at A&M need to stop snorting in those bubbles. These nicknames are getting out of hand here. That's all I'm going to say. Stop snorting the bubbles.
Stop snorting. Yeah, can we get that trending?
Yeah. I'm going to tweet to you this weekend, God forbid, if they lose, and I'm going to say, stop snorting bubbles, and you're going to know exactly what it means.
Every time they lose a game this year, I hope to see it coming. I'll stop running.
It is honestly one of an A&M fan telling me I'm not allowed in the state of Texas. If you hadn't heard, unless it's Dallas, they do not like us over there. I went to a game there and went viral on something I said, and thank God I had some people with me. That's all.
Well, it is the big rival. I mean, I would say since A&M has joined it, they're probably their biggest rivalry.
Oh, without a doubt. We hate them. They don't like us. We're assless chaps. We don't. We just win natty rings. I mean, look, it is what it is. All right, Jack, Pencil Talk, 11.7. Look, man, I got to admit, what you guys did at Omaha, I thought was fantastic. You're absolutely killing it. I love everything that you guys are doing. Tell everybody where they can catch all your stuff.
Hey, man, Pencil Talk Pod. My Twitter's J DeLongchamps. But the 11.7 guys are beast. If you're bored and want to see what's rolling around across the country, nobody does it better. Dimitri, Ben Upton. But more so, man, I really appreciate you guys having me on them. I'm learning this piece. I feel like just a year in, it's like I'm going back to school. So to have the opportunity to come and talk some Tigers, let's go. Appreciate you, sir.
We'll see you this weekend, buddy. Have a good one.